Well, brought the Miller welder over to my neighbor's place. It's going to help them build some fence. Got a problem though. So went to use it to run the chop saw, and the outlets weren't working. I'm pretty sure I tested those, but maybe I didn't. Anyway, I started looking in here, and I've got all kinds of rat-chewed wires. It's coming out of my rheostat there. So that's how I adjust the fine adjust on the amperage. Not cool. Alrighty, back in business. So, welding again. My 120 is working again. That's good. Trying to show you what we did. All those rat-chewed wires, I just came in and spliced them off. So they had brought their welder over, but their welder's not working either. It needs a new fuel pump. So it's just the way this day's been going. We're finally getting going, and yeah, start welding some pipe fence, I guess. Hopefully nothing else goes wrong. You know, knock on wood. Everything's metal out here. All right, see you guys later. All right, so this weekend nothing went according to plan at all, which is typical. You know, this happens sometimes out here on the farm. But I showed up to my neighbor's place with my welder, right? And I kind of showed you guys that. Got out there, the welder was running. I thought it was fine. I had tested it right after I fixed it, and I knew it was welding. Everything was working great. So let's go, you know, use it, see how it goes. And get out there, plug a chop saw into it. And it's got the 120 plugs on the front of it over here. Nothing, not working at all. So I'm like, well, okay, crap. So said, hey, something wrong with mine. Don't know what it is. Let's just grab yours, and we'll get to work, and I'll fix mine later. So while they were out getting theirs, started taking the sides off, and of course I found that rat's nest in there, and the wires are all chewed up. I'm like, dang, that's gonna suck to fix. So they get back with their welder. You guys saw right as they were pulling up. That's when I filmed that clip. So you get their welder over there, go to start it, not starting. I'm like, okay. Start troubleshooting. So I check the spark plugs, and you stick a screwdriver in there, and you can see the spark. And it's getting spark. So the next thing to check is fuel. So I pull the fuel hose off of the where it goes into the carburetor out of the fuel pump, and told them to crank it. They go to crank it, and their switch stops working. The ignition switch, right? Like this one, not working. That's a known issue on that welder. The switch is starting to go bad. It just needs to be replaced. Well, usually you can just tap on it a little bit, you know, hit it with like a wrench or something. And so we tried that, and didn't work. So like, all right, we're gonna need some more tools here to troubleshoot. So I said, sent their son after a multimeter and some better tools. Meanwhile, we're taking the front of their welder apart so we can get back to the back of the switch so I can determine if the switch is working. He finally gets back with multimeter. I go to turn it on. Multimeter's battery's dead. All right, it's a 9-volt battery, pull it out, you know, stick it on the tongue, nothing. Battery's dead. Okay, no big deal. So they grab one that they know is working out of a fence charger, or a fence tester rather, and put that in there. Multimeter's still not working. Okay, so let's go get mine. It's out at the hay barn. It's in my tool bag. It's been out there where I'm working on the Ford tractor. We get out there to my hay barn, and that's where my wieners are. And there's 10 of them, right? Except there's only 6 of them. What the heck? They were here this morning whenever I went to get the welder. Where'd they go? So we got to go drive around and find them. I found them. No big deal. They're just they were still in my fence, just a different pasture. So, okay, whatever. They're still fenced in. Not worried about it. Handle that later. So we get back out there, put the multimeter on the switch, and I was able to kind of fuss with it a little bit. I get that working. So, okay, it's cranking again. So I go over there and I watch where I've got that fuel line disconnected. No fuel coming out of the fuel pump. So their fuel pump's bad. Okay, roger that. So time to fix my welder. So I bring it back over here, and I got it all fixed, patched up all the wires, showed you guys that. Everything's working fine, great. So we finally get started. About 30 minutes later, welder runs out of gas. We'd already dumped all the gas that we had on hand into their welder. That's the first step of troubleshooting, to figure out why it wasn't starting. So we shut down for the day. We're like, all right, time to go sit down and have a beer, I think. This just isn't going our way. The next morning, get out there, plug the chop saw back into the welder, not working again. So crap, pull it back apart and start looking at it, and one of my splices was bad that I'd put in there. So got that replaced, got that fixed, and finally, at this point, at that point, I'd been troubleshooting for like 4 hours before I finally found that bad connection. And so we lost most of the weekend just to trying to fix our stuff. So pretty rough time, but we finally got it going and we got started. We'll be back next weekend. We'll finish that job up, but just a rough day. It's just the way it goes sometimes. A rough couple days. So anyway, we got about half of the work done. Spent 2 days, probably 20 hours worth of work on something that should have taken, 1 8-hour day. So anyway, like I said, it's just the way it goes sometimes. When you buy, old beat up equipment, you're gonna have to work on it sometimes. So rough weekend. Hopefully next weekend goes better. Fingers crossed. Hi guys, we're back from not going to court. So really windy today. This will be a good test of this dead cat, see if it works. So hopefully it does. Anyway, kind of annoying. Took the day off work, and I could have gone to work half the day, but I know I had some other errands and stuff I wanted to run, so I figured if I didn't get it done this weekend, might as well do it while I have to take some time off work anyway. One thing about this mic is that it comes with its own video recording app. The mic doesn't work with my native video recorder that just comes on the phone, and it's shaky. You see that? So I've tried it has an anti-shake thing, but it's not that I'm shaking. I'm trying to just kind of move and you can kind of see it. I've tried it with and without, and either way it seems to be just kind of almost glitchy. So I'm still playing with the settings on this. I may have to figure out something else, some other way to use the mic. I like the mic. It seems to do a good job with the wind. This will be a good test. So anyway, let me show you what we got going on here. Alright, so first of all, it's rodent repellent. My neighbor was telling me about these. She said it seems to work, seems to help. Picked up some pig ears for dog. They're sitting there. They got me. It's one of those impulse buy things. It's right there by the checkout. And I was like, oh, a dog would like those, and they're cheap enough. The other thing I got is a Tomcat bait station. And some bait blocks there. Put that out at the hay barn to pick up more feed for the calves. That's right there. There's another bag of loose mineral back over there. Then I realized my wiener calves haven't had any mineral since I've separated them out. So I figured I'll try one of these blocks. It's a little bit better than that mineral that I have over there. It's a breeder mineral block, 40-pound block. I'll put that out there for them, and I don't know. We'll see if they like it, if they eat on it at all. If not, I'll throw it out with the rest of the cows, and they'll probably eat it. And then I got some other stuff, more oil and a new filter for the welder. I'll show you that. We're going to go throw that on here in just a little bit. So I think I'm going to do that first. We'll do another oil change on the welder and get that new filter on there. I never was able to get a new filter on it, and there's something leaking. There's an oil leak on it, and it's right next to the fan, so it just kind of blows oil everywhere while I was running it this weekend. See that shakiness? I don't like that. I got to figure out how to fix that. So anyway, let's go. I'll change the oil real quick, and then we'll go put that out for the calves and get them fed, and then store all the rest of my feed there. And then we'll go check on the herd across the creek. And I've got a bunch of garlic powder that I'm going to throw in with their mineral. I forgot to mix that in yesterday when I went and refilled their mineral. So we'll go ahead and I'll get a tub or something, and we'll mix up mineral with the garlic powder, and we'll put that out there and see how they like it. We'll see if they eat it. And then these are just these little pouches. It's some sort of like herbs or something. So take it out of the plastic. I'm gonna figure out a way to, it smells nice. I'll figure out a way to stuff those pouches somewhere in the welder, and hopefully that will help keep the mice out of it. Now on that, I think that the mice got it in the 1 week that it was sitting down by the hay barn. because the rat's nest I pulled out of it was hay. So it had been sitting out in the woods for a while, but it didn't have like acorns and tree leaves and stuff like that in there. It was all hay. So I'm pretty sure that the 1 week that they sat over there, the rats moved in and just chewed all the wires up on that welder, which was a huge headache. So you guys, I didn't film much of that project. I should have though, because it was comical. Just everything went wrong. It was just stupid, but I'll tell you about that here in a little bit. But, all right, let's get my maintenance done on the welder real quick. We'll get that knocked out, and then yeah, we'll take care of animals. So with that bag on there, just for the record, it was 400 pounds of feed and 40-pound mineral block plus my poison and me. Little Suzuki 250 handles it no problem. Pretty impressive, I think. So what I've got out here for them today, this is a little bit different feed than I've been using, so we'll see how they like it. Seem to be eating it no problem. And then we'll see kind of how they respond to it. So I bought 400 pounds of it, so that'll give me kind of a couple weeks here that I can try it out and see how they do on it. So this is what's called a 3-way. So it's DDG, dried distillers grains. It's screenings from corn. See that? And then something else in there. But anyway, what I've been giving them is it's called a 5-way cattle ration. The stuff I've been using it's 16% this protein. This is only about 15% protein, but it's also about $2 cheaper a bag. So I'm gonna try this out, and we'll just see. We'll see if I like it. We'll see if they like it. They seem to have no problem with it, so that's cool. It looks like it's got some blood on its face. That's weird. So anyway, I'm gonna try that out, see how it goes. It'd save me a little bit of money if it does just as well, but if it does just as well, and if they do as well on it, then $2 a bag in savings over the course of the winter works out to be several $100s. So, but if it's not enough protein, if they need something else, then I'm just kind of pissing in the wind. So they got to have what they got to have. So we'll watch them. We'll see how they do on it, and hopefully they just keep taking off and doing great. They're looking great so far. So yeah, let's go set up some mouse poison. All right, so on these traps, happens to be a tomcat, but I mean, this is common to all of them. They're going to have some sort of like a key that you have to use to open it. On this one, it's this, and you stick it in here, you kind of pry it back like that, and then maybe it's kind of a trick, but we'll be able to open it. It's kind of a pain. The idea is you don't want people who don't know what's in here to be getting into it. It's very effective. Well, that's it. You should be able to just push this down, and then there it goes. One on each side. And what you got inside here is 4 blocks of poison on these little wires. So I'd already put these in here before I got out here. And then what we'll do is we'll set this up so that the entrance here and here is like up against a wall or something, because mice tend to run along walls, right? Or they'll find like a surface of, if it's in your attic, they might run it across the ceiling joists, or if it's in your basement, they might run across the floor joist if there's somewhere for them to go. And that's just kind of what they do. So that same principle applies if you're just setting like the regular Victor style mouse traps. It's best to place them up against a wall somewhere. And a lot of times you can actually catch mice without even having any bait, because they're just going to run across that wall, and their vision's not that good, especially if it's a dark space, and they might just walk right into it. So that actually works probably half the time. You can just set them, no bait, and just put them places where they're at. So if you only have 1 or 2 mice, probably not going to catch them that way. If you're dealing with a lot of mice though, an area that's heavily infested like out here, I could probably do that. Just set traps up along walls and common passageways, and I could probably catch a lot of mice just like that. What this will do though is that this is going to make the mice poisonous even after they die to other mice. And so mice are they're cannibals. they'll eat their own dead. And so if the mouse has died from eating this poison, then when the other mouse goes to eat it, that mouse will die as well. And then I haven't read on the label for this particular chemical, but a lot of times you get basically 3 generations of kill. So you kill the first mouse and it's poisonous, the second one eats it, and now it dies and it's also poisonous, and the third mouse eats it. Now, when that one dies, if another one eats it, then it might not die. But at that point, hopefully you've got more bait out and they go find it. So that's the idea with using this type of poison instead of traps, is that, you know, if you kill one mouse and then I leave it out here for a couple days, well, it'll be eaten and gone by the time I get out here to get rid of it. Same thing with glue traps. You catch a mouse in a glue trap, that's all well and good. Well, the other mice are going to come eat it, and they'll eat it while it's still alive. They're nasty little critters. So hopefully with this, I'll be able to kind of get a little bit more widespread kill. The one thing you do have to watch out for is these guys. Obviously, we don't want them to get into the poison, but if dog goes and eats a mouse that died from this poison, then it could poison her. So you got to be real careful of that. Where there's pets and stuff in the area, these are best suited for like industrial or agricultural areas, like you know, warehouses and stuff like that don't have any animals that you don't want to kill. So we'll just kind of be careful. So after I start putting these out here, anytime she gets excited about finding something, I'm gonna have to go catch it real quick and see what it is. If it's a dead mouse, normally I'd just let her eat it. But out here, that's not going to be an option, because if she eats one of those dead mice that died from this poison, if it's a first or second generation kill, then it could harm her. So do be careful of that. If you're going to use bait stations, just be aware that the dead rodents are now bait and poison as well. Don't let your dogs and cats eat them. All right, so I've kind of opened this welder back up, stuffed one of these rodent repellent pouches right up in there. So that's there's like a toggle switch, and this is a breaker, choke cable, starter right above it, but it's not touching anything that I think could cause problems. So that's where I'm going to stick that for now. We'll see if it helps. So normally, I got to be honest with you, whenever I see something like botanical, 100% money back guarantee, right? What was the other thing it said? Kind to the earth or something on there. Normally I see crap like that and I'm like, okay, that probably is garbage. But I don't know, yeah, plant-based, made with balsam fir oil, like that type of thing. It's usually a red flag to me and I just avoid it. However, my neighbor told me about these and I implicitly trust them blindly and without question. So they use them themselves and they say they've had luck with it, so we're going to try it out. Now, it does say on here that each pouch lasts up to 30 days, and they're kind of sealed in plastic, so you can keep them for, you know, at least a while. Oh, Earth Kind. That's like the parent company, I guess. She said that she usually leaves them for about 6 months before she replaces them. So we'll kind of try her technique out. We'll try it here in the welder, and we'll see if I get mice in there. Now, I'm also going to leave the welder up here by my camper. So I've got it chained to this telephone pole here, and I've got it set up where I can chain this and my four-wheeler both to the, or it's not a telephone pole, it's a power pole. Now, I've got another thing going up here though, so it's maybe kind of a false positive. Where'd she go? Dog, come here. There she is. See this right here? Come here. Yeah. Eager to please, and she loves to kill mice. So that's the main reason I'm leaving it up here instead of taking it back down by the hay barn. Because while I'm putting that in there, you know, it'd be kind of a cool experiment to see if it immediately gets chewed back up. I don't really want to have to deal with it getting chewed back up. So I'm going to leave it up here where I've got a little hunter that just hangs out here all day. And she loves killing mice. So anyway, yeah, I don't know. We'll see if it works. If I get mice in there, then I'll stop using it. And if I don't, then I guess I'll keep using it, because I don't know that it wasn't this. You know what I mean? But I suspect Doggo right there, she's going to do a good job of keeping them mice away, because she loves to kill them. So anyway, we'll try this out, see how it works. I'll let you guys know in a few months. So speaking of dog killing mice, she had eaten all of her food that I gave her yesterday. She doesn't always, though. I think what's going on is a lot of times she supplements her diet with, mice and rabbits and whatever she can catch and kill. And I know that because I find dead animals every once in a while that are half eaten. So, for the record, I call her Dog all the time, but her full name is Dog the Mighty Hunter, Killer of All and Reaper of Souls. I just shorten it because that's a lot to say every time I refer to her. So, anyway, she's a good one to have around. All right, so for the record, if you buy 25 pounds of garlic powder, that's what that looks like. Mine is just a little bit. I'm kind of guessing here that that's roughly 2 pounds of it. Felt about right. I think what I'll do is I'll take my high-tech scooping device here and this back to work with me, and we have a scale there that I can weigh out actually 2 pounds, and then I'll put a mark on there. Then I'll know for sure. What we're gonna do though is just try to stir this in and mix it, and yeah, garlic powder mixed in there. It's extremely potent smelling. It's been sitting in my truck for a little while, and it's very garlicky. Kind of makes you want to eat some Italian food. Like, the whole truck smells like garlic bread. Okay. So, I don't know. Probably good, right? Something like that. Garlic mineral. Ta-da! Put on a sealable tub. I'll bungee this so if that doesn't fly off. Let's go put it out there and see if the cows eat it. All right, so you see what I've done is I've just put this on top, and that's this red mineral here that has the garlic mixed into it. This is the stuff that I usually get from my vet. I bought some cheaper mineral for this experiment, just in case it turns out that they don't like it at all and I have to just basically throw it away. So I think what I'm going to try and do is take this over there and put it in kind of a corner of a fence. I'm going to bungee the lid down. Maybe that'll keep them out of it and keep the rain out. And I can just leave it out here so I don't have to tote it around with me everywhere. Now, I think I've explained this, but the idea here is that flies don't like garlic cows, basically. And so they're supposedly, if you let them eat this stuff for 2 to 3 weeks, something like that, then it gets in their blood and they start to taste really garlicky, and then the flies won't bite them as much. I don't know. It's not super expensive to buy that giant bulk pack of it, so I thought I'd try it. The garlic itself is cheaper than fly control mineral, and the fly control mineral only kills the larvae in the manure. So it's not actually keeping the flies off the cows, it's just killing the larvae. Well, if the flies are coming from the neighbor's pastures or from, anywhere else, if there's just enough of them out there that you can't break the life cycle effectively, then that fly control mineral is basically ineffective. And that's where I'm at now, is that at this point in the year, it's really too late to even try a fly control mineral supplement, because by the time it starts actually working, I mean, basically it's too late. That's also the time that the flies start dying off anyway, because it's going to start getting cold. It takes, you need several months of kind of advance for that to take effect and effectively break the life cycle. What this is supposed to do is just make the cows unattractive to the flies so that they just piss off and go somewhere else and just stop biting my cows because they don't taste good. That's the idea. So we'll find out. So I got both of these ideas from the same place, and that's just another YouTuber that has cows. This is not effective at all so far. Smells nice and terrible. Granted, there's a dead cow over there. But this is what I had wondered. So this is attracting like your common house flies. Flies that are on these, they drink blood. They need, they call it a blood meal, right? So they need live animals. They're not necessarily attracted to just smelly stuff. Of course, they're attracted to manure because that's where they lay their larvae, their eggs. Well, I guess they lay their eggs, and eggs become larvae. Number 12 over there is ready for a bull. She just let one of them black girls ride her for a long time. She's ready to breed. That's cool to see. But I don't know how well you guys can tell, but see all these flies everywhere? These are the ones that are a problem. These are called horn flies, and they drink blood, right? They don't eat rotten flesh. They want blood. So they're attracted to living animals. So this type of fly trap, I had suspected that it may not work very well, but I was able to build it with some free materials, so it didn't cost me anything to try it. I figured it was worth a shot. Same YouTuber though had the videos about the putting the garlic in the mineral. I don't know what his results were after he tried it for a little while, but again, it's cheaper than fly control mineral, so I figured it's worth a shot. We're kind of late in the year to be trying stuff like this because it is starting to cool down, and already, as bad as the flies still are, they're much less than they were even just a couple weeks ago. So I mean, we've had a huge shift in the weather. It went from being 90 to the kind of the real feel being heat index being in triple digits to being at most in the 80s in the day. Today I don't think it ever got into the 80s. I mean, it feels like probably 78, maybe 75 out here, somewhere in there, and I'm standing in direct sunlight. So as the weather starts to cool off, the flies are going to start to dissipate. They're going to start to, I don't know what they do. What do they go dormant? Do they just lay eggs that don't hatch anymore? I don't know what the deal is, but they're much less right now. That's all I know from looking at my cows. This particular type of fly, there's much less of them. Just, I haven't done anything necessarily. I guess they do have that rub over there, so maybe that's helping. But even as I was bringing them over here before they'd had that rub, it's much less than it had previously been. It's like number 43 here. She gets particularly covered in them for some reason. And number 41 as well. Right up here on her shoulders is usually black from flies. See, she's got some. Not that bad though. So looks like the black cows, my ones that are closer to solid Angus, they seem to get affected the worst. This is kind of interesting. A lot of times that my white faces aren't as bad, but that one's pretty covered there, number 34. So anyway, I don't know. I don't think that trap is particularly effective. And I'm not sure if I'll be able to tell the results this year of adding the garlic in. So this may be an experiment that I have to reiterate next year, and kind of do it for the entire summer, and when flies are a problem all year, and see if that makes any kind of difference. So all right, I'm about done with chores for today, so head back to the camper, see what else I need to do today. I think I'm about done though. So in fact, if that's the case, thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate y'all, and I'll see you next time. Beautiful day out here.